how you get out of being a child. Okay, so what happens is when you go under trust, which is these documents I talk about all the time, getting your trust done, your trust, and you put certain things on record, then you become the adult, you become the sovereign. Now you are in control of your affairs. So when you're going into a marriage, really, you don't need to have a marriage license. But see, I get it. We've been brainwashed to the point where we feel like, oh, we got to have the state in our business. We got to have a certificate. But when you know law, you know how to do that for yourself. It starts right here. These documents right here. It starts right here. So when you understand what it is to establish a trust and how to use it, then when you come together with your spouse, then y'all can get married. You don't have to have the state involved in your affairs. You don't turn over your marriage or your business and then allow the state to make money off of it. You make money off of it. That's what we learn how to do. So now we're understanding this, that you don't have to go and get a marriage license in order to be married. And you need to understand, when you get that marriage license, you have now turned over your business or your marriage to the state. So now the state is going to be forever in your affairs, treating you like a child and telling you what to do with your assets, whether it be your child, your house, your car, anything else. You've turned it over. Okay. Now, when we're talking about child support, same thing. When you get married, if you are acting like an adult, in that marriage agreement, you state, just like a business, because that's what it is. We want to look at, see, we've been really brainwashed about so many things, especially when it comes to relationships. But when you get into a marriage, it is a business. You are contracting. This is commerce. If you look up the term commerce, you're going to find the term sex. Now, they've removed it, but you'll see intercourse when you look up the term commerce. All right? And so here's the deal. When you go into a relationship, what's supposed to happen is that you, just like in a business, you come together and you discuss what things need to take place in the marriage. All right? You establish the roles in the marriage. And then you put certain things into place in your marriage. All right, if this happens and we can't come into agreement, or we get to this point, then we're going to establish these rules. Because if you don't establish your rules like adults do, then the courts will do it for you, because that's what they do for people who don't know how to act like adults. They're going to treat you like a child, and they get to come in and tell you what to do because you're not acting like an adult. Adults are going to handle their issues between each other. They're going to be able to communicate. That's what adults do. That's why we're talking about being sovereign. Being sovereign is not just, okay, well, you know, the government can't come in and do this, but no, being sovereign is being able to communicate when there is an issue. And so if you're in a relationship, and this is the problem, we're not taught this. Everybody just wants to think that it's about sex. I'm going to jump in the bed and have sex with this person, and then we're going to figure it out as we go. Okay. Well, then when you're doing that, that's what children do. You're not acting like an adult. When you run off and go get married and you get a certificate and you don't understand the legalities behind it, you're acting like a child, and that's what you're getting treated like. Okay. So if you're really wanting to avoid that, then you need to learn how to contract with the people who are in your life. And it's not just about even the paperwork, but it's also about the communication before you even lay down. This stuff that I'm talking about, I know y'all are gonna look at me like, well, why, if I just like somebody, because, and these women out here, it's really disgusting to me. But for y'all, I just got to have a dang-a-lang, Diva. But he's so handsome. Okay, you're acting like a child. You're acting like a child when you're sleeping with somebody and you don't even know who it is you're sleeping with. That's what a child does. Why is it back in the day they tell you gotta wait before you wait 6 months? Because some of y'all are sleeping with demons. Some of you all are sleeping with demons and you don't even get it. So if you're going to be mature in women, you gotta be willing to say, okay, if we're gonna do this, these are the rules. Because at the end of the day, especially when a child comes, at the end of the day, you're going to be more than likely the one responsible for that child. Then if there's a child going to come from it, then you need to set the rules. Nobody's told us that though. We scared. We're too scared to set the rules. Okay. Again, if you're not doing this, then you're going to end up getting the government, which is not even really government, but you're going to get somebody who come into your private relationship and treat you like a child. Okay. So we understand, and that's why divorce court comes about, because you didn't set your agreements down beforehand. So now you got to get this judge in your business. Okay. So another thing that someone who is childish and not truly sovereign does, they don't know how to communicate. So some of you guys are very prone to not speak or not say anything. And when you do that, what you have done, when you don't speak, you have agreed. I need y'all to look this up, and I tell my students this: tacit assent. TACIT, assent or tacit agreement, is when you are agreeing to something by not speaking. So when you don't say anything, you have said, okay, I agree. Now, again, this is when you don't speak up or when you don't say something, makes you childish. Because now somebody has made you agree to something that you probably didn't agree to. You didn't even know you were agreeing to it. But no, I didn't want to speak. I didn't want to say nothing. So I didn't say nothing. And then by not saying anything, what you have done is agreed to whatever it is somebody's trying to put on you. If they're putting a charge on you and they're trying to communicate with you and they're saying, hey, I got this problem here. Hey, I've been trying to communicate with you, and then you never respond to them, what you have done is you have agreed to what they've said. So let's say they're coming at you and they're saying, hey, look, you owe me $1,000 and I sent you 2 notices and you just never respond. Like, I'm not even going to talk to them. I'm not saying anything to them. All right, what you've done by not speaking and being childish is you have agreed that you owe $1,000. You might be saying to yourself, but I didn't agree to that. I just didn't say nothing. Well, what's happening is they're going to take you into court. They're taking you into court and they're going to show the judge, look, judge, I contacted her twice. I sent notices to her. Here's the evidence. Here's the proof from the post office because I got receipts or what have you. And she never answered. Well, you know what happened? By being childish and not answering, you have agreed that you owe this money, this $1,000. This is why you need to understand that everything is business. Everything, when you're dealing with people out here, especially when you become sovereign, you're constantly contracting. And so if we're getting to the point where somebody is trying to communicate with you and you're just doing like you do in your relationship, where you're like, I'm just not going to talk. I'm just not going to say nothing. Well, what you have done is said a mouthful of everything. You said yes. That's what you did. You said a mouthful of yes by not saying anything. And that's what children do. They don't communicate and then they get stuck in a contract and they're not understanding why.